We are here in our house sitting at our bar with a whole lot of condiments, specifically every condiment currently in our refrigerator, at least that is liquid based. We're not counting things like pepperoncinis, jardinera, jalapenos, things like that. Chris is counting. How many do we have here?
31, roughly?
All right, well...
I'm rough counting, so I might have missed some.
I'll have to count when I edit, but there's a lot of stuff here. Everything from super sweet marmalade all the way up to super spicy hot sauce. Before we start, Chris, what are you drinking?
I am mostly done drinking a Southern Tier Tropical Blaze.
Oh, very nice.
It is a juicy double IPA brewed with pink guava, pineapple, and mango.
All right, you'll have to update us when you switch out here in a little bit. I have recently opened, we actually just got earlier today, a Birdsong Brewing Passion Play, which is a sour ale with passion fruit and strawberries. Shout out to all of our favorite breweries in Charlotte. We actually just did a big pickup this afternoon before this, knowing we would need something to cleanse our palates between all of these. So big shout out to you guys. We're gonna get started with something actually super special to us. My stepmom, Martha, if you're out there, hello.
Thank you, Martha.
She has so much vegetation in her yard down in the Tampa area, and she made and sent us a couple of jars of delicious Calamundan orange marmalade. We have had this on a bunch of stuff. We're so happy that we have a second jar squirreled away for later. But this is by far the sweetest condiment we have in our fridge right now, so we are going to start off with that. I'm not quite sure how it's going to be on a corn tortilla.
Delicious.
Well, yes. Just different than on, like, toast. So, basically what we're doing for this is we are just putting a little bit on a small torn piece of corn tortilla. We ran out of saltines and forgot to get more, so this is what we have.
They didn't have a lot left, so corn tortillas it is.
All right, drink it. Yee! So I say this is the sweetest thing we have. It's actually very bright, right? It's tangy. It's got a little bit of acid to it, but it's got that sweetness that's there that you would expect and want from kind of a fruit marmalade.
Yeah, it's a very good citrus flavor. It's very bright.
I could eat a whole spoonful of this. There's actually some really good chunks of like peel and stuff in here, just giving it so much flavor. So again,
taste the Florida.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you for sending us a little piece of Florida and of your yard. Next up, we have something that's a bit controversial, at least in this house, Duke's mayonnaise. All right, so up until fairly recently in my life, I had been a enemy, I would say, of just straight mayonnaise. Like mayo-based sauces, totally cool with that, but just straight mayo, not my thing.
It adds to the sandwich.
Well, now,
it gives it that good sandwichy
now I understand
flavor.
that. Now I've had it in context that I like. It just took me some time to develop my taste.
And it was delicious when we made grilled cheese.
Chris, being from the Midwest, had not had Duke's up until very, very recently when we did make said grilled cheese.
To all of those that are north of the Mason-Dixon line, when you come below the Mason-Dixon line, Duke's is the mayonnaise you purchase.
Yes.
I'm a Hellman's boy through and through, but here, I look like a damn Yankee every time I get it.
So with that, we will have some good old Southern classic Duke's mayonnaise on a corn tortilla, which I don't think this is its intended purpose, but today it is.
It's a sandwich.
It's creamy. It's a little bit tangy. I honestly really enjoy the little bit of egginess that you get in it. I think that really stands out. And I think that's what makes it like not just like super plain and bland and creamy, which I think is what I objected to when I was a kid, was I thought mayo came out of a squeeze bottle and was super bland and didn't taste like anything. Sorry. Sorry. I know that's what you're used to.
No! Like, Hellman's is not that bland. It has good, like, flavor to it. It's more, but, like, yes, Duke's makes a very good mayonnaise. Both Hellman's and Duke's, very good products.
All right, so maybe one of these days I'll have to try Duke's, Hellman's, and Miracle Whip all in a row.
No, Miracle Whip, we don't do that in this house. Okay,
on that, we're gonna move on. All right, so our next condiment is something very near and dear to our hearts, especially here in the South.
Lily, this one is for you.
We are eating the classic Chick-fil-A sauce. We had a packet left over from when we got them a couple weeks ago. We live within 5 miles of, I think, 4 Chick-fil-A's.
Yeah.
Something like that. We love Chick-fil-A. We stand a good chicken sandwich.
Not on Sunday.
Not on Sunday. We couldn't get it today. We were so sad. But we love Chick-fil-A. We love their sauces. Eventually, I just want to, like, have their fries and try, like, every single one of their sauces in rapid succession. But today, we have just the OG Chick-fil-A sauce. Great on basically anything. Tortilla. Let's see. So for those of you who haven't had Chick-fil-A sauce before, which, by the way, any of you who haven't had Chick-fil-A, if you're ever in the vicinity of one, go, because what's wrong with you? It's like a ketchup, mustard, mayo mixed with barbecue sauce.
Yeah, it's your standard fry sauce if you're familiar with like other chains that do it. It's basically mayonnaise, barbecue sauce, ketchup,
mustard
and
lemon
mixed together with some lemon to brighten it.
So it's super bright, a little bit tangy, a little bit smoky.
It's delicious.
Yeah, eat it on just about everything. We're actually going to move right along to another local sauce. This we actually had takeout last night from actually the brewery where Chris's first beer comes from, Brewers at 4001 Yancey. Southern Tier is part of that collective. They have an awesome food menu. And last night we were really missing them, so we got some beer and some pizza and some flash-fried cauliflower, which came with this delicious, like,
garlic sauce.
It's like a lemony garlic sauce.
Yeah, it's not, don't think of like Papa John's plastic jug thing that you get with all your pizza.
Yeah, not the garlic butter by any means. It's kind of hard to see from here, but it honestly is not dissimilar to the color of Chick-fil-A sauce. It's just a little bit brighter.
Yeah,
like,
it's that orangey, but not like neon orange.
Yeah, and so like the Chick-fil-A sauce is a little more brown. I think that's because of more of the barbecue sauce in it. This is got little bits of green in it. You can tell there's some really good like herbs and flavorings in it. It was so good last night on cauliflower, and
we demolished that cauliflower.
But we knew that we were going to do this video and kind of wanted an excuse to finish the rest of the sauce, so here we are.
It was good.
Thanks, Brewers. There's so much good lemon in that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bright with just like, it's not a hint of garlic, but the garlic is not overpowering like a lot of things would be. It very well done.
Yes, it's very bright. A lot of citrus forward, so it's not like if you're very opposed to like garlic flavors and garlic forward things. This is a garlic sauce, but it's
so bright.
Very bright. It's very citrus forward. It hits your palate, and then the garlic kind of starts to build slowly towards the back end. That
wraps it up for our mayo-based sauces, so let's move on to some other stuff. First up is something that we go through like crazy in this house. It is Trader Giotto's, right? It's their Italian line, balsamic vinegar glaze. I can make balsamic glaze very easily. It just takes a while, and the entire house stinks of balsamic for days, which not necessarily a bad thing.
It's delicious.
But this is really convenient. It keeps in the fridge for quite a while, and
forever.
It's tasty. Well, kind of forever. We go through it so quickly, I really don't know how long this would take to run out. So we're just going to have a little bit of our balsamic glaze. Okay, this very quickly became an advertisement for Trader Joe's.
I love it.
So I'm just gonna...
It was my bachelor chow.
It was also my bachelorette chow. That's really good. It's actually kind of funny how much I still love it, even like on a corn tortilla, which totally the opposite of what it's meant to go on. I've actually got some ciabatta in the oven right now behind the camera that I'm so excited once it's cooled down to put some of this on. Maybe some oil and spices, and so good. All right, we are going to continue right with the Italian theme here, but first, Chris was already mostly done with his first beer before we started this.
It's hot out.
It is very hot out, but he's got a new one. So, Chris, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Divine Barrel's $40 bill. It is a West Coast IPA with citrus, simicone, and Amarillo hops.
Very nice. Shout out to Divine Barrel. We also love you guys. We actually took some of our engagement pictures there. We have a very soft spot for you, and we can't wait to go back when you're open. It was great to see some of you guys when we picked up beer today. So we're going to see how this goes with Kirkland's signature basil pesto. We're talking when we started coming up with what we were going to do for this and said, you know, are we going to open any unopened stuff in our fridge? Because we do have some like hot sauces and stuff that aren't open yet.
A lot.
We have a backlog of hot sauces. And we had only recently gotten this pesto, but we actually are planning to use it for some stuff with lunches this week, so we agreed it was okay to open. So we've not actually tried this yet, and we're very excited. Again, pesto is something really simple you can make on your own, but in this environment, I just don't have the ingredients to do it. And, you know, you can't go wrong with Kirkland. Chris, I've joked, has been a geeky suburban dad for years and years and years because he loves Costco and everything Kirkland related.
All right. Cheap gas, good products, great warranties.
I'm not arguing with you, and I am eating this pesto now. Oh my goodness.
It's really good.
I'm pleasantly surprised how much of the pine nut you can taste in there. A lot of pre-made jarred pestos, they're very light on the pine nut, but not this. This totally comes through. The basil comes through. It is oily. I mean, pesto is, but it's not like an oil slick in my mouth.
No, it's very thick. It has a great consistency, great flavor.
I am so excited to put this with some veggies, pasta, and chicken for lunch this week. Gonna be great.
Very good. Once again, Kirkland, thank you.
We are keeping in the Italian family, but moving more into the salad stuff now, the true salad stuff. Here we have one of my go-to dressings for when we take salads to work, Ken's Steakhouse Light Caesar dressing. We actually don't have that much of it left, which tells you how much that I eat. You know, most Caesar dressings are a lot creamier, goopier. You'll notice this one is very like white and brown in color. It's not like
it is a light dressing.
It's not a goopy white like you would expect, right? This isn't like a creamy dressing or anything, but it still like packs that great Caesar flavor. And honestly, I just like the consistency of it better. It mixes up better in a Tupperware for work salads. So let us
cheers.
Now, what do you think of it? Because you don't usually go for the dressings that I do.
Well, yeah, I'm very particular about salad dressings. I like generally a lighter flavor. Caesar, don't get me wrong, always will love a Caesar salad. But generally Caesar salad and other dressings can tend to be more, as sacrilegious as this is hailing from the Midwest, not a big ranch fan, because it just overpowers everything.
Hot take.
When you eat Caesar salad, you're just eating Caesar flavor. When you have a salad with ranch, you're eating ranch. So I like a little bit lighter, but this is good. Has good flavor, not crazy. I honestly, controversial opinion, I would prefer a little more of that anchovy bite to it, that saltiness, but
I agree.
It's a mass market dressing. Anchovy is not a popular flavor.
No, if we were to make our own Caesar, you and I would definitely stink it up with some anchovy and stuff. But
oh, yeah.
Ken's by far is my favorite mass marketed gloopy Caesar dressing, which is a weird description of a niche to be in, but so be it. Moving on actually to Chris's favorite dressing. You want to tell the folks what this is?
Yes, this is a French vinaigrette dressing. It is pretty common. I got introduced to it it is like, for a salad dressing, not too awful for you in terms of fats and other items in it, but it has a great flavor, and it's actually very good if you just add it to like steamed vegetables and other things. Mm-hmm. Very good flavor.
They actually advertise adding it to like a whole steamed artichoke, which I would totally love to do during the summer.
An artichoke just right here on the bottle. They're not even trying to say like, yeah, artichoke.
So for those who can't tell, this is Brianna's home style. We typically have had good experiences with our whole line of dressings. Let's have some French vinaigrette.
Yay!
Super light. but a lot of flavor, very herbaceous, but a little bit of pepper in it, which is really nice to kind of finish that out. It's a little bit bright, a little bit acidic.
It complements anything, like any salad if you do sort of like a mixed green, if you do like some arugula, if you were to add some spinach into that.
It stands up to just about any kind
but it doesn't overpower anything.
Yeah.
Nicely complements. It's there, but it's not the showstopper.
Yeah.
It lets other things like speak on their own.
Yeah. So that does it for our first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 condiments. We have made it through sweet stuff, the mayo-based stuff, the Italian stuff, and the salad stuff. We are moving into a little bit of a hodgepodge here, but these are all things that we love. I mean, they're in our fridge, so I would hope so, but we are starting with a fairly new bottle because we go through this quite a bit as well. Kikkoman soy sauce.
It's the soy sauce everyone knows.
And we eat a lot of Asian food in this house. We're actually going to be getting some sushi for dinner tonight, so this will make a reappearance in a couple of hours on our table.
Kikkoman is a company that has been in business longer than this country has existed. They know what they're doing.
We're just going to eat it on a corn tortilla, again, of all things. It's actually kind of interesting with the corn in the background. Like I know we do things with soy sauce and corn, but usually there's like other stuff with it, like it's part of a noodle dish or something like that. The two of them together are just really good. Something that I think folks know what it is, but is the subject of many pronunciation wars, Worcestershire sauce.
It was the best of Shires. It was the worst of Shires.
You know, folks pronounce it like it's written a lot of times. Worcestershire, Worcestershire sauce. This is just generic Harris Teeter brand because when we needed it, that's where I was, and this is all that was left. Quarantine shopping. But we do use this in a fair number of applications, and I actually think we're going to be using it to make sloppy joes here in another couple of days. So Worcestershire, a lot of people have had it as part of other sauces, and it's just a unique flavor. It
was originally invented by the good folks in England, by the Lee and Perrins Company. It was made by a chemist in a town in England. The name eludes me, the town. But they tried it with sourcing all of these ingredients, put it in a barrel, and it was awful. And then he let it rot in this barrel for months, forgot about it, came out, opened it up, and said, let me try it. And it was delicious. And that's what we know today.
Part of like a lot of barbecue sauces. Like I said, it's usually part of like sloppy joe sauce in preparation. I happen to like it just kind of on its own on some stuff, and even mixed with like some other vinegars and things. But again, it's a very controversial flavor. Like Chris said, its origins are a little fishy.
Yes, anchovy is one of the major flavoring agents in this.
Yeah, so it bottoms up. I mean, you heard us both. Here's the thing, guys. Vinegar, molasses, citric acid, like these are all things we love. There's some garlic in here. There's a couple other spices. It is a very strong flavor. So we understand why it ultimately becomes part of a lot of other things, but honestly, Worcestershire, don't sleep on adding it to some stuff, even if you can't pronounce it. Something you can pronounce, though, and we love on its own, on top of some really good French fries.
Or chips, as they would say.
Malt vinegar. This is original London pub traditional British flavor malt vinegar.
The only brand available at Harris Teeter.
Yeah. I grew up eating lots of malt vinegar. I think it was Heinz flavor typically, because
that's the usual.
Yeah, that's what's on like restaurant tables and stuff. And I always grew up adding it to my fries. I think it was something my dad taught me, and I just loved it so much. I generally love very acidic stuff. I love vinegars. I love anything with citric acid. I love, I mean, I'm drinking a sour passion fruit beer, for goodness sake. So malt vinegar is just so good. Again, it's part of a lot of other like sweeter sauces. It can often get mixed into certain like barbecue type sauces and things. But if any of you ever go to the UK and go to a chip shop, you will see malt vinegar everywhere because it is just so dang good, especially on hot, crispy, salty smush potatoes, and just amazing. We're hoping we can get to Europe sometime soon. But for now, we will settle for malt vinegar and corn tortilla. It's just such a deep flavor. Different from the Worcestershire in that it's not as funky, right? It doesn't have the molasses, it doesn't have the old like anchovy in it or anything.
No.
But it just has like this deep, almost sweet component to it with that kick from the vinegar.
It's you get the vinegar, but you can also taste the maltiness of it coming through. And that's what she's saying, that almost sweetness of it. Just how it's being like aged and just the flavor of it. It's not like vinegar, like white vinegar, where it hits you right up on the palate immediately. It's a deeper flavor, very good.
But we could eat it all day.
Yeah, put it on some fried fish, get some thick cut chips.
Ugh.
Great hangover meal right there.
Yes. Not that we're speaking from experience or anything for you younger viewers out there. All right, we have made it through 11 of our condiments. We're about a third of the way through, and now we're going to move to some things that are a little more recognizable to most folks, I think. We're starting with kind of the OG of condiments here, Heinz tomato ketchup. We don't have to tell you guys what this is. It's Heinz. It's tomato ketchup. It's good on everything.
It's great on everything unless it's a Chicago dog or a hot dog.
Okay. Chris says don't put any ketchup on any kind of hot dog. I say it's fine on any kind of hot dog unless it's a regional dog where it's specifically forbidden, like a Chicago dog. What is it with your like vendetta against ketchup on hot dogs?
Because a hot dog is a sausage. It is a Frankfurt-style sausage. And as such, it has a blend of spices in it, and ketchup will generally overpower it. I mean, yes, if you're doing like a sort of a mass-produced, casingless, not really original or heavily seasoned hot dog, by all means, put ketchup on it. But like, if you're going with like a Hebrew National or something that has a lot of spice in the blend of the meat, then it's going to overpower it. Whereas mustard generally will complement the spice blends that have been chosen because, again, it is a German-style sausage, and usually sausages and mustard are paired well together.
If y'all couldn't tell, Chris loves hot dog, sausage, and any other tubed meats. At some point, he may just sit down and eat a bunch of them for your entertainment. I like them about as much as your average bear, but he really loves them. To each their own. What doesn't really go with hot dogs, but goes with just about every bit of Chinese food that you could ever want, is good old WI duck sauce. This is your standard packet takeout duck sauce. Comes with like every Chinese food order you have ever placed. This is left over from one that we had a couple of weeks ago. I really like the sweetness and the little bit of tang that's in duck sauce, especially with like a spring roll and egg roll, things like that. But honestly, it's good in so many things just because it's not a very strong flavor profile, but it just adds a nice little bit of sweetness to just about anything. Do
you think this would be good on duck?
Yes. Duck sauce on Peking duck? Heck yeah. So good. A little bit of sweet. Reminds me of like every Chinese dinner I've ever had.
Yep. It's your staple takeout.
Americanized Chinese before y'all come at me.
It's sweet. It's the corn sugar. It's everything.
So good
flavor, but it does the job. It's delicious.
Also sweet and full of corn sugar and flavor is by far our favorite grocery store barbecue sauce, the original Sweet Baby Ray's. For those of you who have not had Sweet Baby Ray's, you are missing out. Look,
throw out the KC Masterpiece,
The
throw out all
Heinz.
of the Heinz, like, this is what you want.
for a mass-produced barbecue sauce, this stuff is the OG. Look, we live in the South. There are tons of great barbecue restaurants around here, and there's tons of fantastic sauces that they make. Don't get me wrong. There's about a million other barbecue sauces that I would put ahead of Sweet Baby Ray's if we're talking about local places. But for stuff I can get in the grocery store, this is it. Again, we use this for all kinds of things, and it just has such a great blend of flavors, spices, a little bit of
sugar.
Yeah, the smokiness.
A little bit of bite to it. It's, as they say, the sauce is the boss. Yeah. Spouse.
It's just so much flavor. And look, if you have a good cut of meat, even if you don't have a good cut of meat, but if you have a good cut of meat, it's not going to overwhelm the flavor of it. If you have a poor cut of meat, it's going to make it taste a lot better.
Like,
if you dry out some chicken or something, dump a bunch of this on it. Like, don't make that go to waste. Shred it up, dump a bunch of Sweet Baby Ray's on. You got some good cheddar barbecue chicken. Maybe put a little coleslaw with it, some green beans or some okra, mac and cheese. I love putting Sweet Baby Ray's in my mac and cheese, actually.
yeah, very good. The two complement. You get the richness of the mac, but this kind of cuts through it a little bit. And again, whatever you're doing with it, add a little bit to it. Fabulous flavor. Complements a lot of things. It's just really good barbecue sauce.
Yeah. Speaking of barbecue sauce, we have a couple others here. We are starting next with a local one. There's no label on it, but this comes from a place called Jim and Nick's. This barbecue sauce, compared to the Sweet Baby Ray's, a little bit thinner, a little bit lighter. This also, of course, doesn't have the preservatives in it and stuff like the Sweet Baby Ray's does. It's not shelf stable. It doesn't have to be mass produced, but it is still delicious nonetheless. Definitely a little bit less smokiness, a little more acidity, but because the consistency and the viscosity is a little bit lighter, it doesn't bite you as much as the Sweet Baby Ray's. I think it goes very well with their ribs and their barbecue.
It's a good sauce. It's thinner. It will get into every nook and cranny of everything.
Absolutely. This next one, though,
going back to the Sweet Baby Ray's viscosity levels.
yeah, and I'm a little worried about the deliciousness here. We have Trader Joe's Ghost Chili Barbecue Sauce. Chris is a spice lord. I am not. This is a constant point of contention in our house. It smells like it's got good flavor, but it's a freaking ghost chili, you guys. I'm so nervous here for how hot it's going to be. There's just a little bit of it on the cap here. I'm actually just gonna like very lightly put my tortilla in what's on the cap because I don't want a whole bunch, whereas Chris is gonna proceed to pour a whole lot of it on his piece of tortilla.
Another wonderful Trader Joe's product. And what I really like to do when I want to really hate myself the next morning is get this, and then I'll add in, Trader Joe's sells a little crushed grinder thing that has dried ghost pepper in it. And then I'll basically pour this onto something, and then I'll add dried ghost pepper on it and eat all of it. And it is smoky, flavorful, delicious, spicy.
I'm actually putting this on extra corn tortilla because I'm that nervous.
So good.
Oh my goodness. All right.
This is delicious.
Pray for me, y'all. That's hot. The flavor is really good. Like, don't get me wrong. But it's really freaking hot.
Yes, you get on the very tip, you feel the barbecue sauce. You can taste it. There's that good barbecue flavor, and then from the back building up, you can taste the ghost pepper, the ghost chili, and it just adds a great heat to everything.
It's really good. Like, don't get me wrong. There's great barbecue flavor in here. I'm looking at the ingredients. It's got all your classic barbecue ingredients in here, just plus ghost pepper puree. When I tell you guys that my entire mouth right now is hot, that doesn't describe it. All right, you guys, we are halfway through here, and we're moving on to one of my personal favorite sections, the mustard section. Starting off here with the classic Heinz yellow mustard. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, this is okay to put on tubed meats, correct?
Absolutely. Mustard and sausages go together like peanut butter and jelly. The two complement each other's flavor. You don't want to ruin the work of a good sausage maker, and this will complement the flavor.
You guys would not believe how much sausage talk I have to listen to, and not the locker room kind. Again, just like ketchup, this is classic. I don't have to tell you guys what this is like. I don't have to tell you that I use it on a heck of a lot of things. It's just really freaking good, so I'm going to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
So nice. Mild, tang, good spice. Heinz, you know what you're doing. There's no reason why you're the OG.
It's good mustard flavor, a little bit of mustard seed, a little bit of vinegar.
Now, when we get to this next one, the WY mustard, known to many as hot Chinese mustard, right? Again, takeout packets. Love this stuff. I usually have to mix it with a little bit of duck sauce, maybe a little soy sauce, just to temper it a little bit, but it's got really good flavor. It's just hot. So I can't do that here. That's not our game today, but I'm just putting a little bit on here. It's good on so many things, and again, it's got that good, just mustard flavor like what we just had, but it's just hot. It just clears out your sinuses every time you eat it, especially just like on a very neutral palate like this, like on the corn tortilla. It really comes through, and it just comes up, clears you out.
It's that very olfactory heat, like horseradish and other things.
Yes.
It is great, pairs well with a lot of great things. If you're not a big fan of it, try a little bit the next time you get something, especially if you do like heavily sauced, heavily breaded things like your General Tso's or your sesame chicken.
Honestly, I love just mixing a little bit of that, a little bit of duck sauce together, and then dipping the little crunchies that you get with your soup.
Oh yes, the soup crunchies go well very much with it.
Yeah. Well, because they're a little fatty and oily.
Egg rolls, really good in the...
Really good with egg rolls. What we would not use for Chinese food, but we do use for sausages and other things, golden spicy brown mustard. Chris, what do you like so much about spicy brown?
In terms of mustards, your yellow mustard is your generally more common mustard. Once you start going into like your spicy browns and more of your Dijon mustards, you're going to get much more of that mustard seed flavor coming through. It will be less vinegary. Yeah, and you're going to see like generally you're going to get a bigger spice blend with your brown mustards, your Dijon mustards.
It's interesting though, because I'm looking at the ingredients here, and you know, it's mustard. It's not going to tell you like the proportions of everything, but they have the exact same ingredients listed. So I kind of want to go online and see like what the proportions of everything are. You know, clearly spicy brown, it's going to have some spice to it, but the same spices that are listed for that, like mustard seed, obviously, and turmeric, salt, things like that, they're also in the Heinz yellow. So I'm going to have to take a look because this is one place where the ingredients label does not give me all the information.
So it turns out that brown mustard and yellow mustard are actually two different plants. So while the spice blends may be the same or very similar in these two products, the brown mustard seed is by definition more pungent and aromatic than the yellow mustard seed. And between that and the fact that a lot of the brown mustard seed is left whole and coarse in the spicy brown mustard, that's what gives it that big of a difference over the just plain Jane yellow mustard. The more you know.
And again, one of the things you can see is in like a Dijon or a spicy brown or things, you'll see the actual specks of the mustard seed in there.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be much more present.
Yes, it's much more coarsely ground, although we do like a coarse brown mustard, but that's a totally different thing. Usually comes in a jar, you spit it out. But this is more coarsely ground than the Heinz yellow, which, you know, the processing that it goes through really takes out all of the speck of mustard seed. And honestly, after eating the hot Chinese mustard, this actually has just a hint of sweet to it.
Hmm?
Not all meats are made happier with this next mustard, but we do really love it on some very particular items. This is Coleman's Original English Mustard. This container is actually almost done. We have a fresh one waiting in our fridge. This is what you use when you have corned beef. When you have corned beef, when you have cabbage, when you have sauerkraut, when you have potato, when you have
Ham or like thick ham slices.
yeah, like a good, thick, slightly sweet meat, I feel like,
Yeah.
is what this goes with. And obviously, it's original English mustard. If you're having English food, this is probably going to go well with it, same as the London pub malt vinegar. But this is, again, one of those, you said it, the olfactory spice.
We just use this little tiny thing of it.
Little bit goes a long way.
Yeah, very little bit of it, very long way. It has a very bold flavor. It will overpower less flavored things, but is very good.
We love it on like a potato, a corned beef, right? That great kind of meal.
Yeah, that on corned beef and cabbage,
Yeah.
knock your socks off.
So good. We're gonna take another quick break because when we come back, we are moving into
My wheelhouse.
hot sauces.
We are climbing Mount Spicy.